Inspiration for Teachers podcast, bringing you dynamic and inspirational educator interviews. Our fascinating guests share their professional challenges and creative resolutions for success. Discover their workable strategies, ideas, and resources to reach your educational goals. And now your host, Kelly Long.
Welcome to another episode of Inspiration for Teachers podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Long, and I have another awesome guest joining me on the show today. But before we dive into a plethora of knowledge bursts and get totally showered in some awesome educational ideas, don't forget to drop us an email and share with us the questions you'd like answered on the show, what you're enjoying, and what you need help with right now. Along with my guests, we'll do our best to answer your questions. Just drop us an email at inspirationqa@gmail.com. That's inspirationqa@gmail.com. Welcome to the show. We have a great guest coming up for you shortly. But before I introduce today's guest, I just wanted to share with you that this episode continues to form part of the mini Women in Education series. It's a collaboration between myself and the amazing women over at #WomenEd. You'll find them on Twitter and via their website. Joining me on the show today is Bennie Kara. Bennie is an assistant head teacher at an inner city London school. She's in charge of teaching and learning. So, welcome to the show, Bennie.
It's nice to be here.
I'm so pleased you're joining me today. So, thank you very much for your time. And before we dive into your educational challenge of developing confidence as a professional, and you probably have in your heads now, off the back of that, some really strong messages that you've learnt about your confidence and probably that inner voice going on inside your head. So what would you say are the strategies for developing that inner voice, that confidence, that quiet conversation we need to be having with ourselves?
I think it's exactly that. It's a quiet conversation we need to be having with ourselves. I often call it my talk. I'm giving myself a good talking to. So maybe it's not as quiet a conversation as I'd like. There's an element of mindfulness to it. And I don't necessarily practice mindfulness. And I know lots of people who do and use it very successfully. But there is something about being able to say to yourself about your worth and about your role in a school. No one else is going to come up and say, you are worth this, you should do this. You're very lucky if that happens. You have to be your own best friend. And sometimes I think our inner voices can be sabotaging, and it can sabotage our careers. And to kind of quell that voice, you need to be able to give yourself a talking to and say, no, actually, there is more than this. I'm more than this. It's all, it feels very, go me, you have to be your own best advocate.
Go Bennie.
True, you do have to. And I think as I've got older and as I've kind of progressed in my career, I'm better at doing that, but it takes a lot of practice. You feel really silly, but if you don't do it, you're not going to get to the place that you want to go.
I definitely think it takes time to grow into your own skin, and definitely as a teacher, I think you definitely have to do the groundwork initially, and I think you definitely need like a 5-6 years under your belt to then start going into that leadership role. But I really liked how you said that you were talking to your friends, and I think as women, our networks are really important for us. So can we just delve into that network? Was it very much for you speaking to your friends about the situation, or was there a stronger network that existed to kind of help and coach you through that situation? Thank you for listening to this short snippet of Inspiration for Teachers podcast. If you found the information contained within this episode valuable, head over to our website at inspirationforteachers.com. You can download the full episode and all of our best educational resources. That's inspirationforteachers.com. Don't forget it's the number 4 in the URL.
Thank you for joining us today on Inspiration for Teachers. For more resources, tips and advice, visit our website, inspirationforteachers.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, we would love to connect with you. Just click like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/inspirationforteachers.